Okay, guys, good afternoon. I'm really excited to make this podcast today. Okay, come on, Winter. I know you want to come up here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There you go. If I did not let her up, she would have been nagging and meowing for sure. You're so sweet. I love you so much. I love you so much. Anyways, I am so excited to talk about this today because this is something that we see lacking in our external reality on this planet within many people around us, including ourselves. Okay. I want to talk about how energy healing led me to stepping fully into my authenticity, like my authentic self, and organically learning that I had to be excruciatingly vulnerable in order to actually be myself, like to actually be my authentic self. So it's so funny because this theme has been popping up for like the past week now. I want to say maybe 2 weeks, but I want to go over some of my notes I wrote in my journal about vulnerability. So, okay. So it's going to be a little tender, maybe a little triggering. But I just want to briefly talk about my childhood and my upbringing really quick. Oh my God. Her, her tail keeps like whacking me in the face. Um, okay. I was conditioned. I was brainwashed. I was programmed in childhood to suppress my authentic self because whenever I was my authentic self, whenever I told the truth and called out bullshit for what it was, that triggered the adults around me. Okay. And I was constantly conditioned and brainwashed that I wasn't enough, that the only way I was worthy of being loved was being ignored, and how I performed in school. So I say this like it's nothing because I've already done the energy work around it, like I've already healed it. And now I'm just here to share the wisdom. Okay. So, yeah. And so back in, I think 2023 it was, um, I ended up quitting my toxic serving job and I started developing my Heal Your Erotic Self sexual trauma healing course, um, which is also part of my mission work. And anyway, what I started to realize was, oh my gosh, like, healing from that sexual abuse, healing from that sexual trauma, after doing all that energy work and energy healing, I thought to myself, like, wow, this entire time I've been living, I haven't been being my authentic self. I've been my survival self, this survival persona that I created in order to like play it safe, right? So that I wouldn't be thrown out of my household, that my basic needs would not be threatened, okay? Um, and so I realized organically that in order to have a real connection with somebody, like they would also have to be like fully into their authenticity and how excruciatingly vulnerable that is. Like I remember being in childhood and like being myself around other kids who were being themselves. And it was like, I want to say maybe like second or third grade. I don't know. I don't know. It was like, because I got abused in first grade, but Um, yeah, and it's so wild to like look back and think about, when you were just like being your normal, like authentic, goofy, like self, like you were just like so vulnerable with yourself and with other people, and you didn't give a fuck at that age. Like you didn't care what other people thought about you. Like you didn't care what adults thought. You didn't care what other kids thought. Like you guys like just were, like you just existed. And it's so funny because I think about back in like kindergarten and um I don't have a lot of good memories from kindergarten. a lot of like dysfunctional stuff. I remember, but I think I was friends with this one girl and like this one friendship I had, and she was like my only friend. And I just remember having like the best time with her. Like we literally, I think me and my twin sister like played with her at her house and stuff, but um I just remember like how much fun like we had like playing and stuff. And anyway, yeah, it's just crazy. Like I can remember being like 3 years old dancing to Lady Marmalade that was playing on like our wall radio in this house I was living in. And I remember like I was just dancing so goofily, like just being myself. And I remember like my older sister laughing and everybody laughing at me and probably like judging me, like thinking how ridiculous I looked. But I didn't care. I didn't care. I was like, I'm gonna be myself. And so anyway, it's so crazy like how like when we go through years of trauma and like years of abuse and years of societal conditioning and educational conditioning and how it literally puts us in a box and how it's like literally designed to make us something we're not. Um it's like we're set up for like failure from like the jump. And then let's see. Yeah, I want to talk about this too, which is um whenever you shut down and suppress your authenticity in childhood, you feel like you don't belong anywhere because your uniqueness is not honored anywhere in your environment, in your home, in your schools, like in your job, you know? Um, and so I feel like we all carry this trauma, this blocked energy, this stuck energy in our root chakras of not feeling like we belong anywhere. Like we feel like we don't belong, and we all feel like we're weird outcasts of some sort, or which is why, like, you'll go to really nice events and people are putting on facades, not being themselves, okay? And it's just so crazy. It's crazy how like we'll like project and put on masks and stuff to make us try to feel like we can belong somewhere when it's really like we have to learn internally first, to love ourselves, to honor our uniqueness, to honor our authenticity, and to know that that is not going to be guaranteed outside of us. Like, for example, like for those of y'all who do have memories from your childhood and kindergarten and first grade and stuff, like when you would go play around and everything. And do you guys remember when like certain kids didn't like you or didn't get along with you because they thought you were weird or they thought you were just like dorky or goofy or whatever, or I don't know, whatever they thought about you, but you just didn't give a fuck. Like you didn't care. Um, it's like you got to bring that back into your adult life. Like you got to bring that energy back into your adult self of I don't give a fuck who doesn't like me, and who does like me is meant to form a real connection with me. Because when we don't embody our authenticity, when we don't embrace extreme vulnerability with somebody, we're not going to have a real connection. And that real connection relies in both parties being vulnerable with each other, raw, authentic, and vulnerable. Okay. You're good, you're bad, and you're ugly, you know? And I get it. Like, it's like getting up first thing in the morning out of your bed. Your hair's all crazy. You feel like you're just like, ugh, like in the mirror, and then you go look at yourself and you're like, oh my God. Um, and so yeah, it's like it's really about loving yourself first and being like, you know what? I fucking belong. I fucking belong to be here. Like, I'm incarnated here. I fucking deserve to be here. I belong to be here. I don't give a fuck what other people's traumas have to say about me. I don't care what their masks have to say about me. I don't care what their programmings have to say about me. I don't care. That's a them problem, you know? Like, I'm gonna do me. And that enables this innate worthiness, like this innate worthiness energy of like, I'm worthy of a real connection. Okay. So deep. Um, and I really feel like, going into authentic relationships, forming those for the first time, it's like having the courage to be imperfect. And for so long, like I mean, and still, it's still going on, like the brainwashing and the conditioning in the matrix and society. Like everybody tells you, like you have to look a certain way to be considered pretty, or um, you can't have acne on your face, otherwise you're considered ugly, right? Like whatever it is, okay? Ugh, I can't stand that. Like, oh my gosh. I literally can't stand that. Um, but yeah, it's about having this courage of like being raw and being vulnerable in your authentic self. Like, can you lie down in the bed with somebody and just like not wear makeup and, present your good, your bad, your ugly, and vice versa with the other person? Can they do that too? And, with both of you having the courage to do that, you guys are gonna form a real connection. Oh my gosh, like I have yet to do that with somebody, and I can just only imagine, like, I don't know if I'm gonna like cry or what, or how that's gonna play out. But um, I know that all the energy healing I have done, has definitely leveled up like my sex life and my relationship with myself, first of all. And so, just being authentic and then attracting somebody else into my reality who's also authentic, like, oh my gosh, like I could only imagine how amazing like a relationship like that would be. But here we are. I'm still single, I'm still celibate. And also I channeled earlier about this relationship that I'm trying to manifest. Like, so my highest vibrational relationship dynamic is a provider relationship dynamic. And I was asking about like, where is my partner? Like I know he's out there. Like, where is he? And I just keep hearing like in divine timing, in divine timing, in divine timing. And so interesting. I'm gonna be vulnerable with you guys. Oh my gosh, I feel called to share this. Yeah. So crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know how many Utah people follow me on here, so I don't know. We're gonna see how this goes. But there was this guy that was in my gym. I haven't seen him in like months. And um, anyways, he came and like said hi to me one day, like last summer, and I was like working out and oh my God, I was like so awkward like when I responded to him because I was like in the middle of like doing my leg extensions. And my original trainer from last year, he taught me to like go crazy like with certain machines and stuff. And like, anyways, I'm like, dang, I go crazy. And this guy came and like said hi to me, and I was like, oh my God. I said, I was like moving my legs or something, and I just like aggressively responded with like hi or something. It was so weird, so awkward. And he just like smiled and like walked away, and I was like, oh my God, I literally like hate myself. Like, why did I just do that? Anyways, and then he like didn't come back, and I was like, maybe he didn't come back because of like my response. Like, oh my God. It was so funny. And anyway, um, like I went home that day and I was like, oh my God, I think this guy likes me. Anyway, I don't think he ended up liking me anyways because um I never saw him again. Like he never asked me out or anything. And so anyway, I was like, okay, I totally blew that, so whatever. And anyway, like I started having dreams, like tons of dreams about this guy. And um I'm like, who is he? Like, who is this guy? Like, who's a soul? Anyway, I channeled that he was like a lover. Like a like how there's like, okay, there's soulmates that are karmics, like the ones that show up in your reality who mimic your childhood, your dysfunctional childhood, and just basically show you all the bullshit that you need to heal from. Okay, so there's karmic soulmates and there's lover soulmates, which is what I call them. And he was like the first lover soulmate that showed up in my reality, and I was like, whoa, like really? And anyways, I've had one conversation with this guy like in person. So anyway, I was like, really like this guy? Like, okay. And anyways, I had dream after dream after dream of this guy. Like, and just so many things, so many experiences I'm not going to get into. But yeah, basically the non-physical was showing me that like he was a lover basically, and if I were to get involved with him, like it would be like my next highest vibrational like relationship experience. And so I was like, oh my God, like that's really intense. And I don't think the other guy knows that, but anyways, and so um what do I want to say? Oh yeah, that leads me to this next bullet point, which is the willingness to invest in a relationship that may or may not work out. And so I feel like a lot of us struggle with the fear of rejection, um, like this fear of like what if it doesn't work out, or what if I waste my time, or what if they're not the one? And I feel like you can't really make those claims or like, you know, the validity of those questions, like it's just speculation. And it's not based in authenticity, like it's based in fear. And so, um, it's like thinking about the first time, like initiating sex with a new partner, like you're nervous as all get out. You're like, I don't know if I can be vulnerable. I don't know if I can show them all of me and if they're gonna accept all of me. Um, or when somebody asks you out, or you're the person doing the asking out and that person turns you down, like, there is no guarantee that they're going to say yes. There's no guarantee that they're going to say no. Um, if that guy asked me out of the gym, oh my God, I would be like, yes. Oh my gosh, I would have been so dorky. Oh my God. Anyways, and so like you cannot at the same time simultaneously be vulnerable, but then try and control and predict the situations or the outcomes. It's like you just have to let it flow. And I know that's so hard for some of us to do because we haven't allowed ourselves to be excruciatingly vulnerable for so long. And one of the things that I learned back in 2021, which was if somebody says no to you or if something doesn't work out, it's like a universal redirection. And so I thought to myself, like, after channeling this guy was like a lover, soulmate, or whatever, and like he showed up my reality for a reason. And I thought to myself, like, okay, maybe he didn't ask me out because it just wasn't time. Like maybe it like wasn't in divine timing. Like it was just a universal redirection of like not yet. Or it could be a universal redirection of maybe this guy isn't for you. I don't know. I don't know. Because like I said today, I channeled that my relationship with the provider has not happened yet because of divine timing. Um, and so, yeah, I don't know who that's going to be. I don't know if it's this lover soulmate guy, or I don't know if it's going to be a new soul that steps into my reality. I don't know who it's going to be. Um, all I'm getting is like divine timing. And so, what do I need to do? I need to embrace my authenticity. I need to be excruciatingly vulnerable. And, um, whenever this connection takes place, whenever it happens, I have to be like, um, I just have to be me. I have to be myself. And that is what I advise all of you to do is, acknowledge that we live in a vulnerable world and to stop numbing that. Stop numbing that through drugs. Stop numbing it through alcohol. Stop numbing it through having sex with multiple partners, okay? Because it's not getting you anywhere. Um, and know that when you are vulnerable, when you surrender to that vulnerability, is when more joy, creativity, your sense of belonging all starts flooding back to you. Okay. I wish I had my brochure on me. I want to go get it, but it's like in my bathroom. Anyway, so I went to this swing jazz concert a couple of nights ago, I think. Yeah, today's Monday. I went to this concert alone because I told myself like I want to get out of my comfort zone, like I want to go try something new. Like I love dancing, but I had never been to like a swing jazz concert before, and I thought, well, I'm gonna try it and see like what happens. You know what I mean? Like not predict, not control the outcome, not control the situation, and just go and experience and be like vulnerable, be authentic. And so I did that. And what was funny was one of the men that were working there, he came over and he brought me a brochure. And in the left side of the pamphlet, it said like something, like it had a paragraph. And it literally said joy. Like, oh my God. I was like, stop. I literally manifested this. Like, because I ask every single day to sit in the energies and frequencies of gratitude. And sometimes I will say, I also want to sit in the energies and frequencies of joy, of bliss, of abundance, whatever it is that I want to experience. Okay. So, um, yeah, I feel like it's time to stop pretending that, when we're in those moments of putting on a mask and putting on a facade, like it doesn't have real life effects, energetic effects on people because it does. And this one woman in the jazz concert, she walked up to me because it was like a banquet setup. And for those of y'all who don't know what that means, it means like round tables with chairs and like the little table coverings. And then the stage was like all the way at the front, and there was like a little bit of room for a dance floor. And um, so yeah, I was like sitting at one of the back tables because that was like the only table that was open and I wanted to sit down. And this woman comes up to me and she's like, "Excuse me, is anybody sitting here?" And I was like, "No." And she looked at me like this, like her response was like, "Oh my God, a real person, a real response." Like she was so shocked, like she couldn't believe it. And what was so funny is the all the people that were in there. I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of them were staring at me, and I could like pick up their telepathic thoughts because it was so concentrated. And a lot of people were wondering like why I was there alone, why I was so comfortable being alone, why I was like being myself and not like the fake facade people that they were being, right? Like I was all dressed up, like I looked really nice, but that didn't equate to me like pretending to be somebody that I wasn't. Like I was still going to be myself. You know what I mean? Like I love myself. I want to present really cute. I want to feel pretty. Like I want to feel hot. I want to feel sexy. So I'm going to wear an outfit that makes me, bring that energy out to physically present while being my authentic self. And so, like, I did that, and all of these people were like, what? Like, they were so bamboozled, like, just baffled. And anyway, it was so funny. Um, yeah, it was a great time. It was a lot of fun. And I actually ran into a girl outside. She was like with a bunch of guys, and we were all sitting by this fire pit. And I was just literally enjoying myself. I was like staring up at the stars, like stargazing. I was looking at the swans, like in the little pond. And I was just being like in the moment and just connecting like with the feminine energies at night. Like it was just so peaceful and like so blissful. Like all the energies that I love and like desire to experience on a soul level. Like I was just in it. And this girl, she's like, "Oh my God, I just have to tell you, you look so pretty." And I said, "Thank you. Like you look so pretty." Like genuinely, like she really was. And I usually like say in my own bubble, like I feel like a lot of Sagittarius is like it like stuck in their mind and like I just like start dissociating and like people just like look at me like I'm all checked out, but I'm like I'm just in my head, you know? It takes me like a second to like come back to the present moment and be like, "Okay, wait, what's going on?" But anyways, yeah, like I don't know. It's just crazy, like how I organically had to learn that. Like I organically had to learn and remember, what it was like to be my authentic self in childhood and how excruciatingly vulnerable that was, and how that's the only way we're gonna have a real, genuine connection with somebody, like with friends, with family, with partners. Okay. I actually had this conversation with my mom, like just very recently, and I was like, when we're not being ourselves, like we're not going to ever have a real connection ever, you know? And she like agreed. She was like, right, like that's so true. And I think about like all of my family members who are just super low vibey and they don't want to heal themselves. Like they're choosing to perpetuate their trauma cycles. They're choosing to stay in that mode, which is like them. That's their problem, their responsibility. Like I'm not responsible for that. And so unfortunately, moving forward, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And so it's like I have to put myself first and um trust trust that when I am being vulnerable, when I am being authentic, that is vibrationally going to show up with friendships, with partners, and yeah, just new people that come into my reality who are just sick of pretending, who are ready to like just be themselves unapologetically. And that is a place where I seriously hope this planet is at like before I leave this incarnation because like, oh my gosh, this planet will be in a lot better standing, for sure. So instead of waiting, 60 years from now, like just start doing it now. Start doing it now. Start making people feel uncomfortable, like, with the notion that you're being yourself, like you're being your authentic self. If your authentic self naturally feels called to call out bullshit when someone's being toxic or dysfunctional, like do that. Be like, hey, like you may not be aware of this, but like this is what you're doing. And it's not healthy. And, in order for us to have a healthy relationship, like you cannot keep doing this. Like you need to make a change. Like you've got to like work on whatever it is that makes you feel the need to project that out of yourself. And yeah, that's how you're going to experience your most highest vibrationally aligned relationships, just in general, like on this planet and off this planet. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me in today's conversation around being vulnerable, being your authentic self, expressing your authenticity unapologetically. It's so much needed on this planet. Everybody needs to see you. There's only one you here, okay? Out of 8 billion people, there's only one me. There's no other Grayson Khan copy, okay? Like nobody could copy this. All right. This is just as original and as authentic as you're gonna see a Grayson Con. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just be yourself. Like you're gonna have people that are gonna be like, oh my God, I feel the same way you do. I think the same way you do, and you're gonna find your tribe. And the radical honesty and truth is that we're just not meant for everybody, and that's okay. And um it's important to move through life and go, you know what, like I'm not vibing with this person. They're not for me, but like that's cool. They can do them. Like I wish them the best. Like, can you imagine if we all just like move through life like that? How much better this like reality would be? It would be so amazing. So much healthier than what it is now. But anyways, I love you guys so, so much. And I will see y'all on the next podcast for the month of May. And I think I might post it on the first, so we shall see. But anyways, I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for coming and vibing it out, and I will see y'all soon.